Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of the Kashif Booth podcast. If you're new here, each week I sit down with a guest and we discuss their career so far, the highs, the lows, and what's next for them. Today's guest is Abbie Samuel. She is an award-winning actress, host, DJ. What am I missing? Because I feel like you're just this ultimate multi-hyphenate person.
Oh, kind of. Like, so actress, DJ, host, / presenter. Writer, you could throw that in there.
Nice. I didn't know this. We're going to get into that later. Okay.
Yeah, writer. Or author, whichever way you want to put it. I kind of think that's it.
Yeah. Oh, yes. I forgot you are an author. You did publish a book. Yes. Well, it's good to have you on the show, Abbie.
Thank you for having me. It's been a long time.
Yes, it has. I've known you for 8 years now, which is crazy to say. So like, do you remember, like, I was doing that terrible documentary where I was asking about women and relationships, that's how we first met.
Yeah.
And it was just me trying to find out my creativity. Like, I was in this hellish job and I was like, you know what? I just want to ask people their perspective on relationships. And you applied to be in it, and that's how we met. And we stayed in contact. And then I was doing a comedy sketch about two guys who see a hot girl across the street, and then we needed a friend. I was like, I've watched Abbie's show rules, like, she'd be perfect for this. So I hit you up and he was like, yeah, I'd love to do it. We shot that in April 2016, which is crazy, and then that ended up being the pilot for Nate Jamie, what we worked on, and that obviously went on to have crazy success to be in that web series. So what was it like for you, meeting me that day? We was out in Waterloo in that car park.
Yeah. It was just a vibe. Like, it was good. I feel like the conversation flowed well. We spoke a lot. You were organized, you knew what you were doing, and we got it done. And that's just the way you are. You this is what we're doing. It's done. That's it. So and then obviously you asked me to be in Nate Jamie, which I was honored to be asked to do that. But yeah, it was a great experience, really, a great journey.
It was a lot of fun. And I mean, we kind of fell into Nate and Jamie. Really, it wasn't even supposed to be a web series. I wanted to make a web series, but it just kind of happened. Like, people loved the pilot that we did. Well, it was just a sketch at that point. And then I was like, okay, well, you know what? I'm going to do part 2. And I remember everybody was asking, so when are you doing part 2? I'm like, look, I'm broke. I don't have the money. Like,
you want to fund me, or,
Exactly. So I was like, well, you're going to have to just wait a bit and then I will do it. So we ended up shooting the rest of the season from like late 2016 to spring 2017. And the thing is, also, there was a bit of drama, if you remember.
Oh, as in with the pilot?
Yes. Yikes. Do you remember? It was a whole Aunt Viv situation.
It was an Aunt Viv. It wasn't the change wasn't as drastic.
No.
It wasn't like a Claire from My Kids either. So it's a bit, but do you know what, actually, did a lot of people notice? Did it take time for people to notice that a cast member had changed? Or
no, actually, I don't think. I only had like one person say something. And I made Samuel hint at it, who played Nate, and I've interviewed him on this season of the podcast already. I made him hint at it. I was like, I need you to say something like what hints that she's not there. And if you remember in season 1, episode 1 of Nate and Jamie, he says, I don't even know who you were. I don't even know why you even talking to me. And that's probably like my favorite line of the episode. It's the way he delivers it with such vim. Like,
I know. No. Oh gosh. Yeah. Amazing. But good time. You know what? I was listening to the podcast that you did with Samuel. Would have been no, it wasn't last week. This was a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
And you were talking about the rap that he did, and I remember saying to him not long ago, like, I still remember the words to it, but I don't know it fully anymore. But it's something about something like, you're pretty like near long.
Yes.
And you got your nails looking long.
Yes.
Something.
Like
and
Mrs. Wong.
Yeah,
or something like that.
And you got Chinese eyes, like Mrs. Wong. But it's the way you kind of like, and I'm just looking at it like, bruh.
yes.
But good times.
Yeah, very good times. What was it like working on that show, though? Like, what was it like? Because we had a lot of fun.
Oh, 100%. It never, I don't remember a point where it felt like work. Don't ever remember getting up and thinking, ugh, God, I've got to go out with these people. I don't remember feeling like that. It was just a very good time. I didn't mind, you know, when it comes to acting and sets and stuff, there's a lot of waiting around, but I never felt like, oh God, I want to go home. I never felt like that. So yeah, no, great experience. Obviously went on to achieve big things, which we will talk about. But yeah, Nate and Jamie is definitely a vital part of my acting journey for sure. Like, it's a big part of it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's lovely to hear, because I mean, it was such a big part of my life as well. It's crazy to think that we were shooting the first season 6 years ago. Now it's crazy to even say that. And what was funny, do you remember, like, I hadn't even finished shooting season 1 with you guys, where I pitched to you and Lauren, who played Michelle and Nate and Jamie, the spin-off Imperfect.
Yes.
And what was your thought process like when I just pitched that to you?
It's just like, yeah, like, I don't you didn't even have to tell me like where we're shooting or what time. Nothing. Yeah. That was it. Yeah.
I remember that you were just very like, yeah, of course, like, it's fine.
You could have said, oh, but we've got to go to Scotland tomorrow. I wouldn't have really cared. I was like, all right.
Which was crazy. It was just so crazy. My mind was just moving at like 100 times per hour. Like, it was just crazy. And that was like a great journey as well, because it was the first time for me as well doing a series. I always say, I don't know why I did a web series before I started making short films, because short films are to a certain degree a lot easier than a web series. You're doing like 6 episodes. You've got to be shooting, like 12. Well, we didn't even do it in 12-hour days, but I made it very short and easy and sweet for everybody to come in, do whatever, and then go. Because I was like, I ain't paying nobody, and nobody's getting food like that because I can't afford nothing. So it was just like we're here for a few hours, catch a vibe, but you were working, and then you just left, and 100%. So that was great.
And I think even when we'd finished shooting, like, I don't think many of us really left like straight away. Either. I remember going to set one day when it had snowed, and I thought, oh well, I'll just chance it. And then I remember like I was about to go down this massive hill, but there was a bus stuck at the bottom.
Yes, I forgot.
So I thought, let me just turn around now, leave the car wherever, I don't really care, and I'll just get not that I could get a bus, I'll just walk. And that was a palaver, getting stuck, and then someone having to shovel me up. But I still made it to set.
Because we were shooting in Brixton, and you were like, where are you? North London. Yeah, so you were like, you checked all the way down, and we did it, and I was like very grateful because we was on a tight schedule.
That's what I'm saying. But it never felt like it felt like a chore because of the situation. It didn't feel like a chore where it was like, oh, I've got to get set, you know. Yeah. But we all had some good fun moments, like improvising. Episode 2, which is technically episode 1, the date scene.
Oh yes.
That was a lot of fun. I think that turned out really well, considering we improvised it.
Yeah.
Really good.
Because that was, for me, especially with that Nate and Jamie episode, it was like I set it up, but I wanted you guys to just take it to another level. I didn't, because that's what I used to do with you guys. You understood the direction of pardon?
The assignment.
Yeah. So because I knew what I wanted, but it just wasn't getting there. So I was like, okay, let's play around with things, and we would throw direction at you. Me and Yaz as well, we would just like tag team each other, and you guys just picked it up. And what I thought was great about you as an ensemble, with you playing Sam and Samuel playing Nate and Josh as Jamie and Lauren as Michelle, you guys understood your characters very well, and you worked well as an ensemble. And that's what worked well. You balanced off each other. You bang, you and Samuel, I mean, the chemistry was just fire, but it wasn't like, oh, a love chemistry. It was a love-hate chemistry.
Well, there you go. And the crazy thing about it is, later on down the line, not at the start, but later on down the line, obviously, I might as well say it because there's nothing to hide. Yeah. We were obviously offset. I think we were waiting to go to set, actually. And I don't actually, till this day, I don't understand how why he even came out with it. I can't remember what the conversation was even about. But all I remember hearing is something like, because I thought you were a dickhead when I met you. And I looked up and I was like, huh? What? He repeated it and I was like, I was so confused. Even after we spoke about it, I was so confused. But the reason that happened is because I remember, obviously, Sam, the character Sam, and Nate's relationship in the show is the way it is.
Yeah.
So I think when I first met him, like when I first saw him, he was being, well, the way he is, but I thought he was pretending to be the character and trying to be like annoying, flirty.
Okay.
I thought he was warming up. So I started to be Sam, not realizing. He didn't realize. He thought that was me being me. So it's just crazy. But from that, between there and him saying what he said, I never thought there was an issue.
Nor did I. Until he was him and Elizabeth, who was the first assistant director on the show as well, like, they were like, yeah, he has problems. Like, he don't like her. Like, he feels like she's rude. And I was like, what? And I used to get annoyed because, like, it's my show. Why are you not coming to talk to me about this? So it was just like, what?
No, honestly, I had no clue. Like, I never felt no, because I'm quite sensitive to how people speak to me and act around me and stuff. So I never noticed. I just, just thought, well, when we see each other, we're in character from the start. And then eventually I just thought, oh, okay, well, we don't really do that anymore. We're just normal. And then, eventually one day he was like, oh, you were a dickhead.
So for those who haven't seen Nate and Jamie and a bit confused about what we're talking about, Abbie played Sam on the show, and Samuel, who was on season 1, what am I talking about? Season 3, episode 1 of this podcast. He played Nate, and he was this, I wouldn't say dim-witted, but he just had a lot of self-belief, in himself, and he really wanted to be with Sam. Like, he tried everything to try to get her, to the point where he just was pestering her, and she was just like, look, I'm not interested. And she let him down easy, and he still would tag along. Michelle was her best friend, so she was like, okay, she's dating Nate's best friend Jamie, and so she's just going along just to support her friend because she likes this guy, but she just had to take the brunt of this guy who would not leave her alone. So Abbie just played this very no nonsense, like, I ain't got time for this, like, please know your place.
What, I think I'm Sam now. I think I've actually turned into Sam. Yeah,
it's funny.
Yeah, but it is what it is. I think it just made me more aware sometimes of, not everyone's gonna maybe understand your banter, or you can't make assumptions and think everyone's thinking the same thing that you're thinking. But to clarify as well, not to say that he was flirting with me as himself, but back then I used to think any guy that talks to me, they're flirting with me. So I just
and I know why, but we're not going to get into that. So
I say, talking to me, but just being nice, like, hey, you're right, like, if they're very friendly when you first meet, I'm like, well, he's flirting with me. My man ain't gonna be happy. This man's playing with me. I'm sure he is. No, but
I totally understand. But I think, the thing is, Nate's character didn't know how to flirt, so that was the difference. So his version of flirting was trying to be this wannabe rapper who just didn't know anything about rhyming. So
that's true.
Exactly. Then from that, it was such a great ensemble cast, and that's why we won.
We were like a family, I would say.
Exactly. Yeah, well, that's why we won. Nate and Jamie won Best Ensemble Cast at Screen Nation Awards back in 2018, which is crazy to say now. And so the chemistry was there. The story was there. And it just showed how well we worked together as a cast and crew and team. So then, as we mentioned briefly, we went on to do Imperfect, and that's such a completely different kind of show, more of a drama, but it had like comedy as well. Yeah. And it's like, it's funny because I didn't write it like that, but then the way how you knew how Sam is, you just took it there. So I remember editing it, and I would be on the floor because you would just deliver lines crazy. Even Ione, who played, I can't remember her character on the show. I think it was Natalie, her character was on the show, and she would just be the ultimate bougie, like
very dry humor.
And it just worked, and it made that great balance between Michelle not knowing what the hell she wants, to you guys rallying behind her, and your character Sam knowing what she wants but being with an insecure guy. So that was like the fun balance and the differences between the show. What was it like for you working on Imperfect as well? I'm taking the lead because you were a recurring role on Nate and Jamie, and to be a lead, what was that like?
Yeah, it was good. I think that's the other reason why I didn't really hesitate when you asked me to do it, because I thought, well, it's a step up. Like, this is what I've wanted, a main role, so I might as well just do it. Don't ask no questions. Don't ask where we're shooting and nothing. Just get on with it. But it was fun. I didn't feel like under any extra pressure or anything like that. But that's just because of the way you know the cast is, and obviously we would have had different cast members at that time as well, but I don't think the dynamics really changed. It still felt like a family. So
because the thing is, I remember when we did Imperfect, I thought I was quite apprehensive doing it because I felt like it's not going to be the same vibe. Samuel's not there, but then I learned it was just me. Because when I'd listen to like the bloopers or watch the bloopers, sorry, and then it would just be me in the background just doing the madness.
There was one time or a few times I think we did get told off a few times. I feel like I can't remember what was said, but I feel like there was at least 2 times where we would have been looking at each other like, oh, like so and so in trouble. But yeah, no, it was. But with you, I don't ever take it like, oh, he's being so rude and arrogant. To me, the way you are just straight up. You don't really say it in a rude way, but it's a bit like, guys, come on, let's just do this. Let's get it done, you know. So,
but that's the main thing. I also wanted it to also be a family, but then when we needed to work, we worked, and that was the great thing. So, you know, and then, you know, you went on to win Best Actress at the Screen Nation Awards in 2019, which was such an amazing moment, because that day it was like I had Nate Jamie season 2 was nominated and Imperfect, so it was like crazy just to be, you know, so early in your career and then have that kind of situation where, you know, both of your shows are competing against each other, and then for you to win was just such a great moment, because it's like we were such a family and it was like so great. So what was that like for you winning?
I might as well go into a bit of the backstory story of leading up to it, really. So not the year that I won, or the year before that, I think it was maybe the year just before that. It was around Christmas time anyway. I remember going to like it was one of my family members' houses for Boxing Day. We had like a little get together. And I remember having a like really in-depth conversation with one of my cousins that I'd never really see him. Okay. But we just got into this conversation about trying to be successful and what he done. He basically started off as being a barber, but then went on to cut like loads of footballers' hair, like loads of famous footballers. And yeah, he was basically he inspired me basically. And from that point, it was weird. It's like, it's okay. So I posted up a picture of me and him on my Instagram, and I think that's like the first day I got so many likes on it. It was going mad. And I was just like, I've never had this before. Like, I know Instagram isn't real life, but yeah, it kind of all started from there. After that one conversation, it was really weird. And then like, I just started to just pick up success on things. And then shortly after that, me, you and Lauren went to the Screen Nation Awards for the first time ever. I remember when we did that. Yeah. Not being nominated for anything. We just went to go. You invited us. And from that moment, I remember we were sitting there and I just got this weird, overwhelming feeling. Like, I feel like I could win something from this, whether it's as a team effort or just myself. Something's telling me I could do this. So I want to get nominated at some point soon. Now, the following year, obviously, we found out how you could get nominated. Yes. So I think the way people read it was that you have to be nominated by someone. And I think a few days before the deadline, I just thought, you know what? I wouldn't normally do this, but I'm just going to put myself forward. Oh, yes, I remember. I never told anyone. Yes, I told absolutely no one. I just did it. I thought, why not?
Because it was like, I remember it was like, we only had like one day. And I was like, I don't have time, guys. I'm just going to submit the show. And I wish I could have done everybody else. I remember. Yeah.
And I remember just doing it. And I remember like when we found out who'd been nominated, you were like, how did you get nominated? Because I think you'd put up, let's say, Lauren and Josh, for example. So you were like, how did you end up in there? And I was like, well.
But do it. Go take your shot. Like, I was like, okay, do it. Like, none of us felt like, because I remember you were nominated the first year. I forgot. Yes, as well. And Sam, because I think I only did Samuel because I just was like, okay, let me just do him for now. Yeah. And that was it. I just didn't, because it was so last minute and you had to write all this.
A big long thing. Yeah. Okay. And so I thought, let me just put myself forward for it. Didn't win, which was fine. I didn't feel bad. Did we win something?
Yeah, that's when we won for Nate and Jamie, the best ensemble
Right.
cast. Yeah.
Cool. So I didn't feel bad. I felt like, yeah, I'm part of the team. I'm part of the crew. It's cool. Like, calm. And I had a good time. I had a very, very good night for sure. Come out with my blue dress.
Oh, listen.
And this woman who's interviewing us, she came up to me, she's like, yeah, look, she's ready to win. Look at her, she's coming with the winning dress. I was like, yeah, of course, you know. But yeah, either way, still won. And then the following year, normally I just give up. I'm like, nah, I'm not doing this again. But I thought, nah, just keep pushing, because you got that overwhelming feeling. So just run with that. And
yeah, it was just, I was so happy. Like, because it didn't matter who won, if we won individually or just as a car. We were just so happy because we know how much time and effort and, you know, you put into this, and it's your passion. So it was just such a great moment. Such a great moment.
Yeah.
So
the only thing I would say though is it's like, as soon as I won that and I sat down, I just felt like, okay. Like, not that I wasn't grateful, but it was just a bit like, oh.
Yeah, because as great as you're thankful for the platform, it didn't do anything for my career. Like, do you get? I mean, it's like, you know, because I thought, yeah, this is it. Because I've seen other people who've won and they've gone on to do this and that, and it's like, awards are great because it's great to be recognized for what you've done, but it just depends on the type of award you win. You know what I mean?
That's true. But then I also feel like, and this isn't a dig at you, this is more on myself. It's you can't also just rely on one achievement to then carry you for the rest of your career. You then have to push. And if I'm honest with you, I think because at that time, because of certain work situations, I didn't push myself after that. Hence why I started to get like less and less castings. I think in between as well, like I'd go to a casting, I'd get the role, and they just never filmed it.
Wow.
They just never went on to do the project. So yeah, there was that as well.
No, but it's true. I just think like some people kind of get wrapped up in awards. You know, they want to win the Grammy and the Oscar and the BAFTA. Those are very nice, but it doesn't do anything for your career. It is great to be recognized for what you've done, but you don't do it for the awards. I'm not doing this podcast for an award. I'm doing it because
you want to do it.
I love hosting, and I get to interview all great creatives like yourself and give a platform to people who don't necessarily get their flowers, you know, and everybody has such a great journey to share, just like you're sharing your journey now. Because, you know, you started off as an actress, and we spoke about countless times about the situations you were in where it's like you'd be going to set and you'd be waiting around all day and you're not even on set until 9 o'clock, and it's like and that's why I understand why a lot of actors are very particular about the roles they go after. And if they see that only expenses are being paid or it's low paid, they ask a lot of questions. And to me, I mean, now I'm in a position where I don't need to offer actors low rates or free or expenses, but when you are working with someone, they may not even know you or they want to know your reputation. I understand it because just because of what they've had to face, you know, you might do the project and you're like, okay, that was a good day. Okay. And then you see it back and you're like, oh, you know, like it's not good.
Yeah, it's
possible. So I understand that.
Or you're not even in it.
Oh, okay.
That a couple of times.
Oh, wow.
But hey, it's all right. But never where I'm like supposed to be a main role.
But then how was that for you? Because you set aside time and effort and your money because you weren't getting paid for a lot of those work. So it's like, how was that for you? And what is that struggle like as an upcoming actress?
It's very, very jarring, to be honest. Because like you said, it's your time. I mean, I'm sure for those two occasions I still had a good time, but I know for the two examples I'm thinking of, I was there for like the whole day or the whole night. Do you see what I mean? So it's a bit like rah. But then again, I guess a director could argue, well, nobody said you were definitely going to be in it.
But then to me, that's just poor production management. Because if you have a good producer who knows what they're doing, you're going to schedule the day for when you need to be in. That's why you have an assistant director. They're supposed to schedule the whole day. So your call time would be, if your call time is 5 p.m, you get there at 5 p.m. for you to be in hair, makeup, wardrobe, whatever. And then you're on set by 7 p.m. That's how it's supposed to be. Well, I never had you guys sitting around. I was like, okay, because that was my biggest thing. I didn't want you guys to have to deal with that because yes, I don't have this big budget, but I wanted to make sure that, okay, you guys get everything you need and you can go about your day and do whatever you want to do. I just didn't feel right having you guys be in that position and be in that situation. So I didn't like that. So, you know, that's the struggle of it. And it's like, I get both sides because you want to create work and you know you can't pay people and it's so hard to get funding, but at the same time you have to be respectful of people's time because they don't have to do this, you know, they're doing this because they're looking to see how it benefits them. And
exactly. It was tough. And then because at the end of the day I wasn't just doing acting, I had a full-time job as well, so I'm trying to, it got to a point where I was thinking, well, I have to give minimal time to each thing now because I don't have enough time to keep going to all these auditions and then nothing happening. And then, as you kind of said, I had to then start sort of limiting which things I'm going for, you know. But it was crazy. I remember at one point, what I would do is at work, I would do overtime so that I could get the time back. And then that specific time, all those specific times would be used for acting and auditions and things like that. I remember being told, yeah, you're not going to be able to go to castings anymore. And I was like, what? They were like, yeah, someone said to me, I overheard a manager, and I think what they're saying is you're going to have to stop doing that. And I was like, but I'm working overtime to get my time back. I'm not asking you guys for time because I want time and nobody else should be given extra time. I'm a special case. It's not that. So it's just things like that. You have to work so hard, and then when you do get that time, it's then sometimes wasted. So yeah,
and it's very hard because being an actor, regardless of what level you're at, you know, you still need to put food on the table, you know, you still need to make a living, so you can't, it's a freelance job, like it's freelance and it's not, there's no stability in it, and you know, you still want to go out and audition, but rejection is the number one thing in this industry. It doesn't, both sides of it, you know, it doesn't matter what position you're in, like whether you're behind the camera or in front of the camera. So, you know, you try to find a job that's flexible, but then it's like you're still not even making the money you want to be making because it's a flexible type job. Do you know what I mean? You could book one great role and then that's it. Doesn't mean that that's setting you up for, you know, to have a great career. Do you get what I'm saying? It's so hard to get an agent, and even if you get an agent, you might not even hear from your agent in months. You have to seek out and get your own work too. The realities of the industry are very hard. It's not for the fickle, you know what I mean? Like, being a creative is not easy at all.
You know what, just to add to your point about the agent thing, I mean, I guess some people are lucky and do have like a very good agent that will, you know, kick down doors for them. But I feel like a lot of the time having an agent is only good to say you have an agent. It just sounds good. But really, because even when I had an agent, like they did get me some really like cool auditions that I never would have been able to get off my own back. It just wouldn't happen at that time. But I think a lot of the roles I had were still from me. You know, so
yeah, exactly. And that's the reality. Like even me as like writer, producer, like I've been advised by other writers who I know who are doing great things, like Sunita, you know Sunita, yeah, like she's doing great things. She said to me that like, you know, she was fighting for an agent to get a writer's agent, you know, and they just were like, this is great, your scripts, but somebody else will pick it up. It wasn't until off her own back that she was able to get a commission. That's when agents started rolling in, you know. So it's like, it's just really 50-50 because, you know, you have to consistently always put that work in to get to where you want to be. But then it's like everyone's journey is different. People will tell you so many different ways to get to success, but the main thing is that you can't lose passion or the drive to get to where you want to be. So I want to take us all the way back. How did you even get into acting? What made you like, what was your journey to get to where you are now anyway, or to when we met, you know?
Oh no, it started from way before. I started from when you know those cheesy like I've been acting since I was a child, and no, but in a way that is kind of where I started. It's where it started. I think I was in year 6.
Okay.
I remember we were going to do a school play and they were like, oh yeah, everybody has to audition. I wasn't a confident child at all, like to the point where, you know, if I went to McDonald's, I'd be like, Mum, can you order? I don't want to talk.
Okay.
I was one of them kids, right?
Okay.
I was thinking I don't want to think. So I thought, you know what, they're going to give me this book. I've got to read like maybe 2 or 3 lines from it. I'm not putting in any effort. I don't want to be in this play at all. But if I do really bad, maybe I'll just get put in the back somewhere. And then next thing you know, yes, so the main role is going to be played by Abbie. And I was like, shit. But it kind of started from there, really. So I did that. I was, the main role. Can't remember what show it was now. West Side Story, I think it was.
Oh yeah, please. I was in the West Side Story. Everybody did damn West Side Story.
Everybody done it.
Okay.
If it's not Greece, it's West Side Story.
Yeah.
So yeah, did that. Secondary school, did drama for GCSE, and then I think towards the end of secondary school, that's when I started thinking, you know what? I wonder how easy it is to make a career out of acting. I wonder, so then from there, I had a mutual friend. I knew someone who was related to Danielle Azayi.
Oh, okay.
You know, she's married to Ashley Waters. So she had like a workshop going on. So I started off going to that. And then she knew someone else that was also doing their own workshop. So I also started going to that as well. And then it kind of just spiraled from there. So just applying for stuff on Star Now. I ended up doing a show in O2, but it was a headline show. It was a headline for Rita Ora's concert, which to me didn't really work, but hey, let me not but that was a mess. And from that point, I actually said to myself, "That's it." I remember I got home. It was a really bad. Had a really, really bad experience to the point where they were booing me. Like, who are you booing, bruv?
Oh my god!
It's a mad story. It's a very mad, long story. But I remember I got home, jumped in bed, and I was like, "That's it. Never acting again. It's over. I'm done with this now." I swear to God, I was so vexed. One of the vexest moments of my life. But maybe a year or something down the line, you know, when something is for you, it just pulls you back in.
It's very true.
Yes, I was like, no, I've got to start acting again. Forget what I said before. I was being stubborn. I'm going back. So yeah, and yeah, just applying for stuff. Then eventually met you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Look at that. So, you know, you've kind of moved on from acting. I see your TikTok. So every time I'm seeing, I'm like, okay, maybe Abbie's getting back into it. You know, because I understand like why you maybe want to take a step back. And it's not even saying that you don't want to do it or, you know, like even me, like I've kind of been taking a break and refocusing of where I want to take my career. The listeners have heard me say this in past episodes because, you know, you reach the top of the ceiling and it's like, okay, where are you going? You know, it's like, okay, you've done all this and you were like, well, when am I gonna like transition to another level? Do you get what I mean? And so it's like, so I got this podcast I'm doing, there's loads of stuff I'm doing, but I'm still creative, so I'm still a filmmaker, but going in a different direction, going back into writing, took a long break from writing. So, you know, I noticed that with you went on to hosting on your radio. You had a radio show on two radio stations at one point.
I think it was free at one point.
And you're DJing and stuff like that. And I know it's all in like in the soca realm. Yeah. So like, tell us about that. Like why did you go into that realm?
So basically, you see what I was saying about the whole acting and balancing the time between doing auditions and stuff and work. It started to take more of a backseat because I started doing radio. Again, it's one of those things. I remember listening to, I think it was Choice FM or something, and I thought, I could do this. I see a role not long after that pop up on Star Now. Well, I say a role, but you know what I mean. They were looking for a presenter. Went for it, didn't know what the hell I was doing. Apparently, just because I said I want to play soca, they said, well, they weren't listening after that. Apparently, they were like, we switched off. We just wanted you from that point. We did. You could have said any madness, and you still would have got it.
Oh wow!
So, yeah, but to me, that was easier than doing acting because I know what I'm doing every week. I know what time I'm supposed to be there. I know what time I'm leaving. I know what I'm saying. I know what I'm doing. I'm organising who's being interviewed, or whether I even want to do an interview. I might not want to. I might want to talk a lot on the show. I might not want to talk a lot on the show. So it was a lot more of it being in my control, and that's why I think acting started to just drop off slightly. And then with the whole DJing thing, that just came about because there's a program called Virtual DJ, and I was using that to play the music because it would mix it by itself, like auto mix. But I didn't like the way it sounded. Sometimes it sounded lit, and other times I was thinking, no, I can't have people thinking that this is me mixing like that.
Yeah. I understand.
Yeah. So maybe 2 years into me doing radio, a year or two, Lockdown happened, and I like being outside, as you could probably tell.
Yes.
And I couldn't be outside, so I started to get mad, and I started thinking, you know what, now's the time for me to learn to DJ then, because I'm getting frustrated. I need something. I used to stay up as soon as I put my son to bed. So let's say that could be 9-10, take a little break for myself. From about midnight, I would be on live DJing until all 6-7 in the morning.
Oh my god.
The sun's coming up, and thinking, this child's going to wake up and I ain't slept in 24 hours. What am I going to do? You know? So yeah, that's basically how that transition came about.
That's really cool. I mean, that's the thing, you're still in the creative industry. That's the thing, like, I don't know how many people would just leave the creative industry. It might change what you're doing, but you're still in it. And I really hope one day you do return to acting, because you have such a great gift.
Thank
you have great comedic timing as well. And we need to see more roles like that of black women in the UK. So
it's coming. It's coming. But also, I feel like it's hard to find people that just want to create something and build. At the end of the day, everybody needs money. We're in a, what's it called? Cost of living
crisis.
Some kind of something we're in to do with money. So nobody wants to do anything for free. So it's hard for, you know, I know plenty of people that I would love to reach out to and say, hey, let's work on da-da-da. And they say but
I mean, you have to be driven. You've got to be focused. You've got to be in it to win it. You know, I think, like you said, like a lot of people just want to get paid and stuff. We weren't doing that. Like, I feel like the culture of the grind culture has changed. Like, everybody just wants a payday. When we started out doing it, like 7 years ago, we weren't even looking at getting paid. Nobody was coming to me with, oh, so are we getting paid? Like, nobody was saying that. People were like, okay, yeah, this is a great project. We want to collab. We're down to do this. That's what was great. You guys set aside your time to come and do that. I mean, I suffered from huge anxiety making those shows, but you know, we did it. Do you know what I mean? We did it, and it paid off, and we can look back and know what we pulled off and achieved. You know, we never made this to TV, but never say never.
Well, I was gonna say, you know, I don't know if you want to try reboot that Imperfect season 2. I know we couldn't. I know we couldn't. Look, we tried. Didn't happen. I know there's certain characters that no shade, because it is. I like to talk real. Certain cast members that either can't come back because they're too busy or don't want to, whatever it may be. But I think a reboot could still happen, because what you could do is, if you write it in a way where that character is still there, they're just not on the screen. True. So they could always then, if they're down and you're down, there's always room to bring them back, you know.
True.
Because I'm just saying, certain characters could have a cousin, and I could be like, yeah, I miss my friend, but she's away now, I'm stuck with you.
I mean, it could work. I think it's like one of the characters who was on it, she's like gone on to do very well. One quit acting as well, actually.
Okay.
One of them is in a Netflix show at the moment.
Wait, someone quit acting?
Yes.
What, the same
the one who played like the bougie character, Ione. She quit acting.
Oh yes, okay.
She quit acting.
Which she shouldn't have. I think she got a gift there, but
I know, but you know,
it happens.
Haley, who played, I think she played Natalie.
Okay,
I think she played Natalie. I can't remember what Ione's character was. What was her name? Rachel.
That's
that was her name. Rachel. Yes.
Yeah.
Haley's in a new show on Netflix. I think it's called Lockwood and Co.
Okay.
So I'm seeing her on posters everywhere. So she's doing amazing.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think Lauren, who played Michelle, she's doing well. Like, I see her in shows all the time and commercials and stuff like that. So I mean, I don't know. I don't think they would how can I put it?
Say no. No, it wouldn't be a flat out like no, hell no.
No, I don't think they would be interested in coming back. But I think
not even for like one little something,
unless I'm paying them like
okay,
crazy
all right.
But I think I would love to reboot it. I feel like I could reboot the show. I mean, make it centered around Sam, because it was about Sam and Michelle anyway, but it could be more focused on Sam anyway. And I have great ideas. Do you know what I mean? I have great ideas where I could take the character. And like I said to you, I'm writing again, so we'll see.
I'm ready.
Watch this space. You never know.
I'm just saying.
You know,
I'm ready.
It would be more like a reboot. It would be a reboot, a reimagining. I'd probably have Sam set in a new city.
Yeah.
I don't think she'd be in London anymore. No. I think she probably would still be in the UK, because I would still want to keep it Black British.
Okay,
like maybe you went to Manchester or Birmingham, starting over.
I don't know about that, but all right.
Or maybe new ends. Like maybe you move from
Chelsea.
Yeah, something like that. You know, or
somewhere where there's been a bit of
gentrification.
Right.
Yeah. You move there. Maybe like the characters, they kind of just like they all moved on and they're living their best life. Like they got married, had kids, moved to another country. And then it's just like Sam and a new group of girlfriends.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Do you know what I mean?
And this is the thing, like, if you don't write out the original characters and leave it open, if the reboot was to get to somewhere, then you would have the funds. True. A piece of something, and then people can,
Then I would go back to and be like, well, look, here we go. So, because the thing is, it's like what you do as a web series format doesn't really necessarily work on TV. You're gonna have the show's gonna have to be fleshed out into, because I could see Imperfect being like a 40-minute show. It could be fleshed out, the characters, and we could just work it around there, and hopefully the network says yes to all the actors that I want to be in it as well.
Oh yeah, there's that.
Yeah, there's so much to factor in, but we'll see. Do you know what I mean? We'll see, because season 2 unfortunately did get cancelled just due to funds and cast leaving and stuff like that.
So schedules as well.
Yeah, it was just crazy kind of trying to put it together. It just wasn't working. No. But there was such great ideas there. Yeah. And so so I'm open to it, and like I said, I'm writing, so you never know.
If you want to come up with a new concept, you need another Sam, you want Sam and Nate and Jamie, I don't know, maybe she's some reason falling for Nate. Why that would happen, I really don't know.
We would not do that. She'd be going for a manic episode if that happened.
Oh Lord, yeah.
I don't know. I could do it like the Newlywed show that I did, which was just a pilot. Do it as like a short film. So we never know. You've put a bug in my ear. So guys, watch this space. You never know. So what's next? Like, what's going on for you, like, currently?
I don't honestly. Do you know what it is? I've realized that I seem to go through a phase of doing different things every like 3 years, right?
Okay.
Well, acting was a bit longer, but acting, and then I did radio, like full on focusing on that, or presenting for 3 years. And then and then DJing, I'm on my, I don't know, I think I'm on like a year and a half or something like that, or a year, something like that. So there's something else coming next. I'm not sure what it is, but I don't know. To be honest with you, with the things that have happened over the last few years, like job changes, having a son, my dad passing away, I'm really focused, and like even friendship groups changing drastically. I'm just trying to find myself and see what I can work in with being a mum. Luckily the job I've got now is a bit more flexible, so praise God for that. But it's just trying to thing. But acting, I do definitely want to go back. Like, as you say, I'm on TikTok. Like, I'm hardly on Instagram anymore. Like, people message me like, Abby, you still alright? You good? Are you alive? Yeah. Bye. You still on Instagram? I'm on TikTok, mate. Come over here if you want to find me. But it's just my way of, whilst I'm on this journey of trying to find this new version of myself, it's just TikTok's been getting me through that. And Instagram, I think, is turning quite negative, or not negative, but it's all about flashy and all of this kind of stuff. TikTok is kind of changing, I think, to become a bit more negative. I feel like I've kind of jumped on it at the wrong time. Like, I should have jumped on it a bit earlier. But it's just, that's my space for me to do what I want. I don't have to, people don't really see into my private life that way as well. That's the other thing I'm working on, trying to just be more private. So it's just my creative space.
Nice.
Could do anything on there. So
Well, thanks, Abbie, for coming on the
you.
show. It was great.
You.
Just chatting, catching up, and hope you guys really learned a lot about the industry and how we broke it down, and being an independent filmmaker or being an actor, trying to just make it on your own and break through. If you haven't like gone to drama school, if you haven't done the usual tropes, or you weren't acting from like a child star and you're just in it, do you know what I mean? Like, I really hope you gained a lot from this, guys. So,
there's plenty of routes as well. Like, I didn't even do the whole traditional go to acting school and go to university and study drama. I didn't do it that way. I don't even know what my journey was. It was some weird thing, but anyone could do it. So
where can people find you and stuff like that as well?
So Instagram is at Tiny Houdini, so tiny like small, Houdini like the magician. I think it's the same on TikTok as well. I've got SoundCloud as well if you want to check out my mixes. Not many on there at the moment, but yeah, I think again if you type in abs Houdini, abs as in stomach abs, Houdini like the magician, YouTube, wherever I'm on most things really. So yeah, and just big up yourself as well. Thank you for asking me, inviting me down here today, and continue with what you're doing as well. You're doing big things, man. Every minute nomination we've been nominated. Newlyweds, Nate and Jamie, this, that, the other. So yeah, no, big up yourself as well.
Thank you. Well, thanks guys for listening. You can follow me all on my usual socials. You know there's a bunch of them, so stay tuned for new episodes coming soon.